This bill, I think, presents a dilemma for many members on my side of the aisle. And the reason it does is in part because of the unfortunate way that Ameren has driven this process, and particularly the measure that was brought before this committee just a couple of weeks ago. The thing that was brought before this committee a couple of weeks ago was an absolute piece of junk. And it was filled with provisions that were harmful to consumers and that, frankly, are so prescriptive as to wipe away 100 years of established utility regulation. And I know that's particularly frustrating for members on my side of the aisle who are genuinely interested in seeing this plant get built and who are genuinely interested in making sure that economic activity and those jobs stay here in the state of Missouri. And speaking, I think, on behalf of everyone on my side of the aisle, I can tell you that we are simultaneously pleased that there has been some good faith effort to move in the right direction. But I think there's also different levels of comfort. I won't presume to speak for anybody else about what's happened so far. And I'll just say for the record that I think you and Representative Krause and the others who have worked on this have been genuinely trying to address those concerns. And I still have some profound disagreements, and there's things where I think this thing has a lot of ways to go. And let's also just say out loud what everybody in this room knows, which is that if the language stays as it is right now, this thing is dead with a capital D, courtesy of our friends on the Senate side regardless of what they do. And based on the statements of the governor this weekend, I think everyone knows that there's a long way to go to get this thing to a place where the correct consumer protections are there and where we are doing what we need to do that's responsible for the people of this state. With that said, Mr. Chairman, I also want to reiterate, number one, my respect for the way this process has been handled and the fact that the conversation is moving in the right direction. And number two, members on my side of the aisle want to be a constructive part of that and want to try and get us to a place where we have something in front of us that actually does protect the consumers, make sure that the right guarantees are here, and make sure that this can be done in the right way. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, in the interest of moving the conversation forward, I will reluctantly vote yes, with the hopes that we'll have something at the end of the day that all of us can feel more comfortable with. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Krause.
Speaking of the House Committee substitute pursuit as amended, Mr. Chair and committee, I think I want to commend the chair for the work that he's done on this bill to make it more consumer friendly, and I appreciate the comments from Representative Zimmerman. I think that you have added to the discussion and improved this bill, and I know that you have some deep reservations about it, but I truly thank you for the comments and the advocacy for the consumers on this bill. I think that you've added a lot of consumer protections in here, and I think you're right. I think that the bill's not done, and I think that there's going to be significant changes over in the Senate, but I think that we are at a point where we need to move forward. I think this is a good start to move forward. I think the state of Missouri needs a new base plant and a clean generating base plant in the state of Missouri. So, Mr. Chair, I appreciate your work. I think this is the right step forward, and I encourage all the members to vote yes on the House Committee substitute.
Further discussion on the House Committee substitute. Let me just make a quick comment in closing on my motion for due pass, and that is that I do want to respond to some of the characterizations of Ameren. I know I've worked very closely with them and other members of the industry throughout this process, and I don't think there's been a single change that I have suggested, either on my own or at the request of some of the members of this committee, that has been resisted. There have been some that I know have been a surprise to them because they approach this bill from a different direction than some of us do, and so they don't always see the grass laying in the same direction. But I can say that they have been very cooperative in doing everything they could to make sure that this is a good energy policy decision for the state of Missouri, and that allows not just Ameren, but anyone who is interested in building the lowest cost base load utility facility to have an opportunity to do that for the citizens of Missouri. I do think that the bill as it exists right now is a much better bill, not necessarily because its intention has changed at all, but because its design has changed, and I think it now does is more closely aligned with the original intention that we had, which was to ensure that we have available to the citizens of Missouri, the financing that is needed to build significant baseload generation. I think at that point, we're certainly open to changes in the Senate, and when those changes are going to preserve the most important aspect of this bill, which is to ensure that the financial community will come to Missouri and will help us build baseload generation, then I think we will indeed be very open and eager to receive those changes. With that, and before we do pass, I move that we roll the amendments into a new House committee substitute. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries, and we will now vote do pass on the House committee substitute as amended. Madam Secretary, when you catch up, please call the roll. Aye.
Representative Krause?
Aye.
Representative Hummel?
Aye.
Representative Levy?
Aye.
Representative Parson?
Aye.
Representative Pollock?
Yes.
Representative Schuler?
Yes.
Representative Skaggs?
No.
Representative Smith?
Aye.
Representative Ebrock?
Yes.
Representative Walsh?
Aye.
Representative Webb?
Yes.
Representative Wright? Representative Zimmerman?
Aye.
By your vote of 12 in favor, 1 opposed, and 1 absent, you have do passed the House Committee substitute for House Bill 554. Is there anything else to come before the committee before we exit the executive session? Seeing none, that concludes the executive session, and we are adjourned.